Hi, everybody. This is Deborah. Last night went okay. I thought I'd come in again a second time to see how it goes. Let me read the disclaimer. All the information provided on this channel is for educational purposes only, and this channel does not promote or encourage misuse of the information. I will mention some alleged happenings today, and yes, I will give my opinions about some things. Respect others because you want others to respect you. We have different journeys. For instance, I went down a place where you may never go and you may disagree, and that's okay. My thoughts matter, and so do yours. I will use words not intending to offend people, but to describe my point of view. Take what resonates with you and what does not resonate with you, put it on the shelf or throw it away. Now, this is going to be part two. Let's chat. What's on your mind? That's going to be the topic. Let's chat. What's on your mind? And I'm hoping that you guys will get involved and do just that. I'm going to wait for a minute. Hey, Pete. How you doing, Pete? You doing all right? I see you got my message. I'm just going to wait for a few people to come in. Last night went well, so I decided to do it again tonight. See how things go. We got into a little discussion. So as I do it more often, maybe we can get into different topics because I'm a firm believer that everybody got something to say and nobody knows everything. No one person knows everything anyway. I think that we may be efficient in whatever position that we hold in this earth, but I've always tried to master everything that I've done. Not necessarily done it, but I just feel like everybody uh, has their own thing and they do well at whatever they're doing or greater. Um, so how you doing today, Mr. Peter? I've been watching all these. It seems like the whole internet, YouTube is bombarded with this P Diddy thing, but a person is innocent until proven guilty. Now I listened to what was that, Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright had a lot of things to say about different people. Um, some people said negative things about her, but I don't know. Hey, Imani, how you doing? I missed seeing you yesterday, Miss Imani. Uh, but people had negative things to say about Jaguar Wright, but it appears allegedly that some of the things that she's saying is accurate. Well, we'll see. I'm a firm believer that action always proves everything. You know, you're innocent to proving guilty. Seem like this sex trafficking uh, is all over the place. You know, I watched Tyler Perry's show Ruthless, and uh, and I tried to figure out who is it, which one of those cult leaders that he did that show after. Could have been Malachi York, could have been Jim Jones. Uh, there are cult leaders all over this place, even as I speak. I understand that there is sex trafficking with the young people uh, right here in Atlanta. Um, as I watch Ruthless, uh, the mind of these people is just horrific. To watch somebody control a whole host of people with drugs, and for them to just take their whole life living and give it to this one person that actually to be initiated into the um, the occult. He had sex with these men and women, and then sometimes he had several men to have sex with the one woman. I mean, that there, it just makes me cringe every time I just think of this going on for real, for real. I don't know if it went on in Malachi York compound, but there are a lot of people out there on YouTube saying things that took place in his compound. I've heard people say, "Well, he didn't do what he was convicted of doing. He did it only because they let the people that they took, they let the other people go that was locked up with him, and that's why he confessed to the cases." And I don't know. I just don't know. This is what I do know, and I knew it within my heart. The Anunnakis is a made up story. I just the only reason why I talk about the Anunnakis is a made up story because I, as a young teenager, I've had to deal with demons, and and sometimes they will appear in different forms. Uh, I knew they wasn't from another planet. I knew they were from the fourth dimension, and the fourth dimension is up there where that sun and moon is. And everybody have a right to what they believe and know, but I actually experienced demonic forces from a child all the way up to where I'm at now. They don't come as regularly, but when I was in my teenage 20, 30, 40, uh, early 50, they were constantly coming. And the funniest thing about it, when you got a real demon, one of them heavy demons, one of them I guess you call them archangels, because they're not angels, they're demons. Uh, the a heavy ranking one, you can't move. That you're paralyzed, and you can't even really say nothing when that thing enter into your atmosphere. I haven't seen one in a very long time, but I was listening to a young man the other day. He was talking about his rank that he constantly received uh, uh, entities that he had to deal with, and he's young. He may be in his 30s. I know you're right, Amani. There's no such thing as aliens. They don't exist, but there's definitely a such thing as demons. We were invisible before we became visible, and so there are demons, high-ranking demons that are still invisible, and they like to play. They just like to play. But this guy, he was talking all good. He was talking what I know. Young boy, I guess he was probably in his 20s. I'm like, yeah, somebody finally got what I'm talking about. And I'll be damned. When he was all said and done, he said the wrong word. He said, since I found Jesus, he said, I don't have to deal with that no more. Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's in the name Jesus during that time period, because my mama had us in the church. That's when the demons came, okay, for me. And when this young man said you have to have salvation through Jesus, and Jesus is the only one you can have, so I said, you know what? And so I realized, once I was seeing that and listening to him, I realized something. And I had to say this to myself. I said, Deborah, you know what? We all go through initiations. Um, Kabbalah says there are um, 22, and that's where they got that. And then 32 is the final initiation, and that's where they got the Freemasonry thing. That's where they got the 32 from, and then the 33 you at your highest or whatever. But I realized, I said, you know what? He's been initiated. There are some initiation as a human being. Some human beings don't go through the same process at the same time. Like, it sounds, for me, listening to him, it's kind of backwards. Hi, BLH, how you doing? It's kind of backwards, because now he just got into the Jesus story. And see, my son, my oldest son that passed, he was considered to be schizophrenia. They labeled me as being schizophrenic. Of course, I laugh about it. Uh, but I never would admit that the alien story was true. But when he was off the medication, back when I was into the Jesus story, he would say to me, I am Jesus. That's what he would say to me. He said he was Jesus. And looking back at that story, because the cross itself, the cross, it really is a symbol of the human being itself without the head. And I realized the flesh is actually the it correlates with Jesus, because this Jesus story, in the physical represent the flesh. And I'm writing a story on the um the resurrection and the ascension. And actually, the resurrection, common sense will tell you that no human being could die and come back alive in 3 days. He would be too stinky. It'd be too stinky. And that's just the way it is. So if that be the case, then it must be something else that the Essenes was trying to say to the people. So when you come into this physical body, you have fell from grace. You fought that we came down. We came down. We fell down. Okay. And so what happens is, as we begin to start climbing back up, we go through, we're dead in the beginning, and we go through a resurrection. Okay. We go through a resurrection. So now we're coming back alive. And as we come back alive, then what happens is we start going through the ascension process, which is actually the initiation process. And so when they say that Jesus went and sat beside the power, that's up in the head. So All that stuff takes place in the actual physical body. Uh, those of us that had dreams where we were falling from the sky, falling from the sky, falling from the sky, we fell into the womb, the spirit part of us. Hi, Jonah, how you doing? The spirit part of us fell into the womb itself. Now, don't ask me how that shit works. I just know that's what happens, and so that those are for people that fell and never hit the ground. You fell into the womb. The spirit fell into the womb. Because the mother don't make the spirit. The spirit comes from the creator. Okay? All the mother does, her body is housed for the physical part. The spirit part comes from the creator. Okay? And so the spirit could be a negative. Now, here where we get into Malachi York. He talks about the agreeable and the disagreeable. Now, the agreeable one is actually the one that start going through an ascension. The disagreeable is what we become when we come to the earth, because the earth is actually a lower place. Some people call it hell. Um, some people say hell is a mindset. Um, the story where Jacob had a dream. None of the characters in the Bible was real, but the story where Jacob saw angels descending and ascending, that's our story. So descending is when we fall into the human body, the womb of the mother, and ascending is us going back up. And once you get to the head space, which is where the heaven is, then you are now walking in your power. That's the story symbolic of the Jubilee. I was telling that the people last night. Psychology measure the growth of people every 7 years. So 7 times 7 is 49. So at your 49th, you should be almost into your higher self. And in your higher self, you are now balanced between earth and heaven. It's just that simple. And the only people who would grasp this are the people that is focused and trying to go into that space. The ones that are still operating from the outside of themselves won't see that. So you made it back, Jesse. Okay, good to see you. So let's talk. I want to hear some of the things that you guys have to say, and I want to hear where you guys are in this space right now, because we are in a place of um, Aquarius, which means everything that was hidden is being revealed. I don't care what it is. If you're a liar, it's going to be revealed. If you're doing wrong, it's going to be revealed. Whatever you're doing, it's going to be a reveal. If you're in a particular position and you're not serving the people, and you're serving the people based on your attitude, that's going to show up, and somebody gonna show up to tell you about it if you don't listen. And if you still don't listen, you're gonna be removed. You will be removed and you will be replaced. So all the things that we have been dealing with in the past and what we're dealing with now, it has to cease. It's too negative. The negative energy has to cease. So BLA said, I would look forward to make it to my jubilee in age. Jubilee has to do with you going through the process to get there. It ain't just gonna pop up and happen for you. You know, if you are a person that don't admit the things that are right and wrong, by the time you turn 50, it ain't gonna work for you. The Jubilee only take place with people that are going through the struggle. Uh, in Romans 7, and you're going to hear me talk about the scriptures sometimes, but because most of the people are still there. But Romans 7 talks about the struggle within. The struggle within is that you're struggling with the ego. The ego is the devil in you, because the ego is the only thing that is your enemy. It is the only thing that comes up against you and fight with you. It is the only thing that would tell you there's no such thing as the devil in me. The devil is outside of me. So I'm going to create this big old person or this big entity that is the devil rather than look at myself. And so if you don't look at yourself, by the time you turn 50, you're not going to be in your higher self. There are things, I'm going to give you 3 points. When the children of Israel, and again, it's a metaphor, when the children of Israel was in the wilderness for 40 years, they was in the wilderness because the wilderness represent the you know, I'm looking to get me a house. I got to work and pay my bills. I got to put my kids in this place because I want them to grow up to be football players to make big money. That's all wilderness. That's all earthly thinking. And so by the time you get to your 40th year, now it's time for you to really deal with that stuff. And when you deal with that stuff, it's going to be very intense. I can tell you, because the ego ain't going to want to let go. The ego don't want to let go because it's so used to doing what it do. And so it's going to tussle with you. Even when you're trying to meditate, excuse me, and you're saying to yourself, you know, I want to treat everybody right. I want to say the right things to people. I want to do the right thing. And then that ego gonna say to you in thought, uh, remember when that woman did something to you and you gonna go and do something for her? Remember when that guy called you a bitch? You gonna talk to him? The ego is there to keep you from your spiritual self. That's what the ego does. That's what all of us get when we come into this earth. And it's funny, you would think easily the way we came down, we came down easy. You would think we'd go back up easy. Well, it's not easy to go back up. It's a struggle. You have to fight your way mentally through the process. It requires work. It's nothing easy. I know because I do it every day. It's nothing. When you walk past somebody and somebody step on your foot, and you know, if you anything like me, these some dogs that hurts. Okay, these old dogs hurt if you step on my feet. And to fix your mouth and use your mind not to call that person a name, you know that's very hard. That's the struggle right there. I mean, you know, we say things out our mouth when we in a particular situation, and then after we settle down and go back and look at that picture, I don't know about you, but me, I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have did that. And then I just go out there talking to the universe. Universe, can you help me be a better person today than I was yesterday? See, there are things, that's what I was talking about. Like yesterday, I was saying to the people, there is information and there is no power with that information. I'm talking about people. And then there are people that have power. And when they use that information, it creates for them. Trust me, there are some people down here that don't have no power. So what they do, they manipulate. When they recognize that you have power in you and what you do and what you speak, they gravitate to you and they try to manipulate you to use your power for them. Trust me. That is the ego. The ego is the hi, young lady, Zalika, how you doing? But that's what the ego does. It manipulates you, uh, like, oh, you such a great person, because they know that if they talk about the ego knows that if it talks about how great you are, you're gonna fall for it, and then you're gonna give in to what the intent of the ego. The intent of the ego is to get you to speak things that's going to manifest for them. Okay, Jesse says the last solar eclipse, I moved from the south to the west, and this solar eclipse is moving north. Oh, for real? Wow. Okay, people, I'm not going to be on here doing all the talking. This is for you as well as myself. So, really, I want to hear you guys say what you're feeling, what's going on with you, because I want to use this time and this platform for all of us, not just for me being the talker. Now you can make your comments and I can call them out, and you can make, if there's questions, you can make your question, and then one of the other people can probably answer it for you as well. What I'm trying to do with this platform now, I'm trying to get us all in to be collective into helping one another, because that seemed to be the thing that's lost in the planet. People don't want to help nobody, and I told you about the fraternity and sorority last night. They were helping, they even don't help no more, you know. Uh, but still, I still give them a plus on working. They will work for a living. Some of them look down on people that don't work, but you don't know where that person been. You don't know where that person been that is not working. You don't even know if that person worked. You just know right now that person is not working. And so I'm looking down on you. And that's some of the fraternity and sorority do that. Not all of them. I was just thinking in terms of the hospitals. I was thinking in terms of banks. Maybe some of the places that give out stuff to the poor and the needy. Just think about those kind of places. Jesse says, I want to let go of my ego. I'm short tempered. Yeah, I had a short temper problem too, Jesse. And let me tell you, I'm 67 now, and I'm telling you, I'm just, let's say, about 10 years. It is really working to the point where I'm not so short tempered anymore. I was short tempered as a teenager. I was short tempered as a young adult, 20, 30, 40. In 50, I began to mellow down some. And then today, I notice what I still get mad about now. I get mad about molestation. I get mad about abuse. I get mad about rape. Those three things. I still get mad about it. Those things. and I'm sure, but what I'm saying is that the creator is exposing that stuff now, and I'm still a believer that uh you're still innocent until proven guilty. They haven't found. Well, I saw them going out of P Diddy's home with boxes of stuff. Don't know what they had in it. Uh, I saw that they did retain his children, but I guess they did that so they wouldn't get in the way of the investigation. Um, don't know if they've received uh, P Diddy yet. Don't even know if they have a warrant to lock him up. Um, I do know that a lot of things that Jaguar Wright said is being exposed. Not necessarily that there's going to be a case, but it's being exposed to where the authorities are involved, uh, in what's going on. Um, I don't feel sorry for molesters because they don't feel sorry for the children. I don't feel sorry for the abusers because they don't feel sorry for the children. Uh, I get a little agitated with the mother that allow these low uh, mindset men to molest their children. I don't get it. It just I don't get it. And the thing of it is, kids in the music industry are telling it. The kids in the uh, Hollywood industry is telling it. They're exposing what they've been through, and it shames me being a mother myself. It shames me what mothers allow their children to go through for some money. I was thinking about Gary Coleman. Okay, Jesse James says like everything is coming out. It is. It is. Yes, the industry is falling. It feels like the last days of school. Yeah, I know he's a small fish. You remember they got Epstein. They got him for sex trafficking, and I know. Let me just put it like this: I know that sex trafficking is going on in Atlanta because my son has a friend that goes and buys these girls that the parents threw them out. The mother, because the father wasn't in the home, threw them out. Pretty kids, I mean, just gorgeous children, throwing them out, and the boys are prostituting and the girls are prostituting as well, and that's not cool. It I still get mad and I cry about it because it's just horrible. I just don't understand how you can take your big ass penis and stick it in a hole that does not fit. I don't and then you hear the person crying. I don't know. That crying gets on my nerves. So I got to go and tend to the crying. So I can't even picture a guy having sex with a baby, an infant, which they have, and going home and sleep. I just don't get it. Uh, Zelikai says, I found that doing shadow work helps me neutralize the ego. Therefore, I respond differently to similar situations. Yeah, you do. As you do shadow work in your body. That's what I was saying earlier. If you do shadow work continually, that's what's going to help you, because that's the only thing that's going to help you. In that shadow work, you're recognizing your behavior and you're lining your behavior up like for me, I made a standard, and I used Galatians. I think it was 6 Galatians, the seven deadly sins, and then the spirit, the fruit of the spirit. I line myself up. I look at human nature is the seven deadly sin. And so I look at the fruit of the spirit and I see how far I have accomplished things. And that's what, that's what that works for me. I can't tell you what works for you or what should work for you. So Jesse says, right, they stopped talking about Jeff Epstein. I'm just 2 days ago, the internet was talking about Dan Snyder for Nickelodeon. Yeah, I remember that. But I thought they said Jeff Epstein had died in jail. I thought that's what they said. It's been a while since I've seen that. And then they mentioned that Oprah was connected with him. And then the part about Oprah just disappeared. So Jonah says, minds and hearts. I guess that comma, back comma, bad comma. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It just, it's like, do we go back to the old way of thinking? Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? Or do we just continue on? We see things happening and just walk and say, oh, it's not my children. Oh, it's not my family. Do we continue doing that? At what point do we say, okay, you know, should I help or should I not help? You know, because sometimes when you help people today, they take it out on you. So should you help or should you not help? Or should you continue on minding your business? Now, my son' attitude is, I'm sick. He says, I'm sick because he takes chemo. So he says, I'm going to mind my business. In my case, I don't do that. If I see something that requires another person's attention, like if I go outside and I see this man beating up his woman, I'm going to stand right there in the door and I'm going to see if you're going to keep on doing it while I'm standing there, which I had to do that. And he didn't do it, but my son heard him doing it. And he didn't do it. He didn't hit the girl no more when I was standing there. And the only reason why I didn't call the police, because in Georgia here, they're going to lock both people up now. She had a little baby. He had threw her clothes out on the porch. And I did not want to call the police because they would have locked both of them up. And I understand why the police took that made that decision, because a lot of times these girls, when these guys are beating them and they go to jail, in the past they would cancel out uh, offense against them. And police here in Georgia got tired of that, so they start locking both of them up. So Imani says, I've been able to correct a lot of my behavior from within in a short period of time. It's no good. That's awesome. That is awesome. That, like I say, we all are different. And I'm not going to sit up and say that it took, because it took me a while, it's going to take you a while. I wouldn't fix my mouth, because we all got different journeys. We all got, I thought about, like I said, I was thinking about the guy when I was listening to him when you're talking about the demon story. So he had to go through the Jesus, which is kind of backwards, but that's his journey. That's his journey. And I had to realize, my goodness, he's going backwards. But there's a reason. There's a reason why people have to experience the things. Like for me, most of my childhood, young adulthood, most of the all of that was negative. And it was only in my late 50s that I began to become a better person. Well, really see what's really going on. And then, like, now, I'm really happy about where I'm at today because, it's like when you have a thought that comes to your head that's negative, I'm able to reject it and keep it moving. Where in time past, I would act on it or continue concentrating on it. I don't do that now because I recognize the tactics of the ego. You know, I recognize it, and it's just important, because people don't want to people don't want to deal with mental health. It is a mental health problem when you keep stuff inside. You need to talk to somebody. Some people. One thing I learned that some people don't like to go see a psychiatrist. I was seeing a psychiatrist some time ago when my oldest son was younger because he always stayed in trouble and I didn't understand it. But anyway, I had a nervous breakdown and I wound up seeing a psychiatrist. And all that psychiatrist did for me was try to give me prescription drugs to calm myself, which made me high. I was high and I didn't want that because I'm more of a natural person. I like to do things naturally. And but you need somebody to talk to release yourself. Because if you keep that stuff inside, it becomes a negative thing. And when it becomes a negative thing, then you act outwardly negative and not realizing that's what you're doing. You know, a lot of people, because that's why I try to tell people when you break up with somebody, don't go into the next relationship because you're going to take it there. You're going to take all that stuff that you experienced with somebody else into that new relationship. Because I always hear people say, oh, girls, let him go and go get you another man. No, you don't go get you another man. You let him go, but you heal from that situation. Because I don't care if you're a female or male, you're going to take that stuff right into that new relationship. And then before you know it, everybody going to be the same. All men going to be the same. All men dirty. No, all men ain't dirty. You got some good men out there. But you got a lot of ones that uh, came up with childhood problems and they still have those problems and they haven't been healed from it. So that's what you got out there. And it's the same thing with some young adult, the female, especially the young adults. They have issues that they've had when they was children, and now they are actually in that behavior. I hate mama. Never saying nothing about daddy, but I hate mama because daddy is gone. Daddy ain't with mama, so it's I hate mama, and that's the young men and the young women. I hear it all the time because my son is still in college. So and they come to him with that. They hate, and they give you reasons why they hate. Mom out there trying to work, and she don't know how to talk correctly to her children because she's frustrated and tired. And then she wants herself a man, trying to get with another man. It's just too much for the young people. So Imani says, truth to be told, there's good and bad in both women and men. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. In both. But I'm just saying, the mother get left home with the child, and if she don't have her money right, the person that's gonna get the lash from that is that child. Because I've heard it and I've seen it. I've literally seen mothers calling their 5-year-old, 6-year-old daughter a bitch. You know, And I've had to say something to them. But I was at the hospital one time, and this lady, she's about my age, I was younger, and she was younger, and she had her grandkids with her. And this one particular grandchild, she just kept on picking at the little girl and picking at the little girl. Little girl wasn't doing nothing because I was watching her and the little girl. So the little girl wasn't doing nothing. So I said, I got tired of her doing it. So I said to her, I stopped picking on that child. And she was picking on that child because her daughter of the children probably was at work, or maybe she might have been in jail, but she was taking it out on that baby. So the lady told me, she said, fuck off. That's not your business. And I told her, I said, you're making it my damn business because you're making all that noise and you picking at that child in my face, you know. And I had to catch myself because I was a little bit, now talk about getting angry. I was a little bit, if that woman had came up, I would have dragged her ass all over that hospital. I just don't like the kids depend on us. And if they can't depend on us, who do they depend on? It turns out that the adults are the ones causing harm to the children. I hear women say, oh, that's a badass little boy. That's a badass little girl. I mean, these are mothers and fathers saying this stuff about their children. So did they get it from you? Or did they pick it up from school? Or is it just they just bad? But you're not doing nothing about it. We have to examine our surrounding and see, well, what is it that I can do to be a part of the community to help without hurting myself? Because in time past, I used to get involved with the community, helping, and I wound up not helping myself. And so when I didn't help myself, I wound up stressing myself out to where I had to take a break, you know. But we got to help ourselves, and we got to, if you feel obligated to help others, the ones that need the help, want the help, and I realize you can't help everybody, but that's the problem with communities today. They don't help. They see things going on and they just turn their head the other way. Zelensky says there's broken, wounded, and traumatized children walking around here in adult bodies. Yes, those programs will continue to run in the background of the minds of those individuals. I know. And that's just not enough psychiatrists to treat. Well, they don't really treat. Well, they try to treat people with medication, and medication only helps the symptoms. It does not treat the problem. And some of the psychiatrists give people bad advice. I've seen that too, when really they shouldn't be giving no advice. They should be listening. And the other thing, medication is what they give and what they're supposed to do with the people. Medication didn't help me, and sitting there talking to a psychiatrist didn't help me. I'm fine. I talk to myself, and I don't do it in the public, but if I'm in my house, I sit and talk to myself. Ain't nothing wrong with that. When I was married, my husband used to, this when I was, because he was 9 years older than me. He used to talk to himself, but you didn't hear his voice, but you can see his mouth moving. And I used to look at him like, what the? But as I've gotten older, and as I've understand the anatomy better and better, and understand the mind. The mind is a as they say, it's a terrible thing to waste. It is if you don't understand your mind. I just think it's important that the best study that you can do in this earth is to study who you are and to study how you supposed to operate in this earth. That's the first study, you know. And then the next one would be, what can you do to contribute to society? Because we all have the ability to contribute to society. We all do. I don't know about you, but it makes me feel good knowing I can contribute to the community and they are helped. It makes me feel good, besides myself. It makes me feel good. And I don't think it's ego to a degree. The ego is not going to go completely away because it's a part of you in this earth, but it has to be put in check. It has to have balance because sometimes you need the ego to encourage yourself. The ego has its positive and negative to it, and we just have to know only our spiritual mind can help us with that. Let us know what is positive from the ego and what is negative from the ego. You know, you just have to spend a lot of time by yourself. Like I live in hermit stage. That's how I live. My son and I live here together, but a lot of times when I'm in the house, I have my door shut. He has to knock on my door to talk to me because I'm always studying, I'm always researching, I'm always something of the nature to try to better myself, to try to see what I can do to contribute to the community, you know, because I got time on hand. I didn't always have time on hand, but I have time on hand now. So I try to utilize my time to better myself mentally and spiritually, and I try to implement that whenever I come on on YouTube. All right, folks, y'all getting quiet now. Come on now. I ain't coming here to do all this now. I did not come over here to do all that. I do enough talking. So where you guys at? Are you into Jesus still? Or you believing the creator is just a male? Do you believe the creator is uh, feminine and masculine? What you think about the sun and the moon? Are they spraying chemtrails still in your town? What town are you in? I'm in Atlanta, you know, and I hear that they talking a lot about this solar eclipse. Hey, Glow. How you doing? Yeah, I'm trying to get away from Gnosticism, but yeah, and Toism. Yeah, I kind of like it. So where we at, people? Jonah, Imani, Zalika, where we at? By the way, Zalika, I went on your channel and I enjoyed your videos that you've done. Oh, Glow, you're from Pennsylvania. Okay. I've been through Pennsylvania. My son talking about when he graduate, he got another year and a half to go to get his master's. So he will be here in Atlanta, and he talking about going out California California. I have to go with him, but that's a big old place. BLA says in the northern part of the states, you don't hear about us until it's in the news or declassification newspaper. Really? Wow. It there's you got good people and you got people that's not so good. And that's, excuse me, that's across the culture. That's across the culture because if you go to a state that is predominantly either or, then what happens is you'll see crime. It's crime in every state, and you got some states that have a certain type of culture, and then you got some state that have another certain type of culture, and either one have crime. Glow says one of my nieces and family lives in Atlanta. Oh, okay. This place is getting very big now. I mean, I used to see traffic in upstate on the news. I'm talking about Atlanta. Everywhere you turn, there's traffic. Everywhere you turn, and they drive very, very close, very, very close, and they speeding while they're driving very close. So if you put on brakes, they're gonna hit you. They're going to hit. And so me, whenever I'm driving, I'm looking at the rearview mirrors. I'm looking at the mirror because they drive so close. And I just assume that maybe because northern people use the subway. So when they come down south, they have to purchase a car. We don't have the subway. We have buses, and we have the train, but it is nothing like the subway that's up north. I wish that they did have it because wouldn't be so many people driving. That drives fast. They drive really, really fast. Well, okay, people. Zalika says, I've been seeing the moon in and out of the ordinary phase. For real, this is what I meant to tell y'all. I told y'all that we have the drones be in my area. It's about 5 of them. What they do, they hide up in the clouds in the daytime, and when it start getting at night, when it start getting night, then they start making noise. What I saw the drones do, the moon came out. What I saw the drones do was sit up there with the moon. Yeah, you in Rotten Apple, New York. Yeah, I remember. It is that. But yeah, I saw the drones sit up there with the moon. And I sit in my window for a while and I saw the moon. This was in the morning. I saw the moon actually going down. I'm like, well, where did it go down to? Actually, the sun the same way. I watched the sun go down. So I'm saying, okay, both of them are going down. Where are they going down to? Jesse James says, I'm the new China, California. Oh, okay. New China, California. Oh my goodness. My son wants to move in California because he's majoring in journalism, and Georgia does not have Georgia does not have uh, too many writers here. They leave. If you're not working for CNN, and because they don't pay nothing here in Georgia. So the one of the locations for journalists is out in California. That's one location. Washington. There's all the places that they have that they will pay journalists is all the places that it's just too big for me. You know, when you get older, you want to live in a small place, small congested place. So Jesse says, "What do you know about the black sun?" Let me tell you. I'm trying to think. Okay, I'm 67. Okay, I have not seen the black sun. What I used to do, I started. I sun gaze, and I have not seen. It used to be when I look into the sun, the black sun would be behind it. The black sun is not behind it now. The sun itself looks like a pulsating eye, like the all-seeing eye. You know how your eye be pulsating? I guess I'm using the correct word. Well, that's how the sun is whenever I sun gaze. If I do not go and when the sun get ready to set, if I don't come to the window, it'll come to the window. The sun will come to the window to let me know that I need to sun gaze it. It's really weird. I don't have all the answer for that, but for me it's a phenomenon. The 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 moon itself, it just goes in all these different forms. It's like it plays. When I look up at it, I leave my blinds open because I'm waiting to look at either one. And the moon takes on these different forms. I'm looking for that black man that I saw in the moon, and I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. It's been what, over 15 years now. I haven't seen that black man. And then I read something that they say Inky and Elab got the fighting, and they say Inky is in the moon. So, and then they say that the name of the moon god is Yah, but then another set of people say that the moon is female. I have not seen a female up there. Okay, it was a male, and he was jet black, and he had braids, and he had a beard, an ancient. He looked very ancient to me. Okay, Glow says I had my awakening at 15, sitting in front of his waiting for the first period, was thinking about sun worship, reflection, and being a hermit. HS is like prison for youth. Kids carried knives and stuff. Oh my goodness. Ooh. See, and that when I think of I remember when I first went to New York, Bronx. I think we went to Bronx because my ex-husband's daughter lived, because he moved from he's from Trinidad, but he went from Trinidad to Bronx, and he had a daughter there. And so we went to see the daughter. And his cousin told me to leave my purse at home, because she said when you walk in the streets, they would snatch your purse. I can't I wouldn't want to live in a place like that. But you know, certain parts of Atlanta now is becoming that way. Isn't that something? Um, they had these gang members in California, New York, and other places. Quite a few of them are here. There were a period when people was getting shot and killed, and all kinds of things was going on one period, and then it died down. You know, I wouldn't want to be in a place, because where I came from, we used to leave our doors unlocked, and I came from the projects. Uh, we used to leave our doors unlocked, and so even then, I'm not used to that type of living. Where I should be. I can't walk around with my purse, or I can't walk. They say that what she told me, she said, if you look like you out of place, like you're not from New York, they come for you. That's what his cousin told me, and she was going to school to become a medical doctor at that time. And I just didn't understand that type of mentality. Is that true, Zaleki? Is that true? Because I don't know. I didn't experience any negativity when I was there, though, but she just told me about it. I just want to live in a place where it's quiet, you know, a nice old garden and walk out there and just pick whatever I want to pick out the garden. My daughter just went to Trinidad. Her She brought back some aloe vera, and she was telling me just a plant. She was telling me that her aunt has a garden. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's horizontal and not vertical like it's. You're right. I've seen that. It be doing some crazy stuff. The moon. I mean, it goes from not being round to it breaks up into little pieces. And I'm like, what the heck? And sometimes I think you'd be doing it just because of me. Well, I take it personal. Glow says, anyone taking Boswellia extract? No. What does it do, Glow? Oh, your knees. Do you know that in the Aquarius, do you know that the knees is called the Aquarius in the medical field? Did you know that? I'm going to put that thing up again. Frankincense tree. Somebody sent me some frankincense and myrrh, but I never went and researched it to see what it did. I'm gonna put the zodiac. We back in the day, I guess they called us zodiac bodies. And so somebody created a chart, and each part of our body is named after the zodiac. The next video that I do, I'm gonna uh, make a body, and then I'm gonna put those zodiacs. Uh, my knees hurt too, Glow. That's what I wanted to say. My legs been hurt ever since we came into the uh, Aquarius. My legs been hurting me. Uh, and sometimes they feel very heavy. And I'm thinking that the reason why I feel heavy is because I've gained 70 pounds easy. Well, over the years, a few years. And it feels so horrible. But I have to eat. And I have a tendency to set my behind at the computer with the bag of potato chips. Just eating one at a time. And I guess that's probably how I got this weight on me. Okay, good people. I've enjoyed talking with you. So, what I'm going to try to do, I see that more people came in tonight. Um, if you want to try to do it a little bit more, just hit me up in my email and we'll come in as much as you like. Well, I can't come in on Thursday because I'm going to have I got a hemorrhoid. It's getting cut out, so I don't know how that's gonna work out for me. Whew. uh, I don't even know how I'm gonna feel afterwards. But just shoot me an email and we'll go from there. Jonas said, "Do you believe in flat Earth?" Well, let me tell you what I believe in. I was on a plane one time, and it looks the from and I was on one of them big old planes, and them things fly up real high. And when I was on there, I literally could see the it's shaped like a dome. The ground itself is flat, but everything else is round. That's what I saw, you know, when I was up in the plane. So the earth itself is flat, but it's shaped like a dome. We have they actually built a dome here in Atlanta. And if anybody ever seen that dome, that's what I see Earth as. And as far as it moving, the Earth ain't moving nowhere. The only thing be moving is that sun and that moon. Earth is not moving. It appeared to be when I was a child growing up because I used to look up all the time. I used to see so many stars, and I said, you know where? I guess maybe all the stars on the ground. Maybe all of us are the stars on the ground. That's why they're not up there anymore. That's just a thought. But I do know for sure that the sun is a star. That moon is a satellite. Yeah, of course I remember that. I remember that school taught us that the earth was spinning on its top. Lying. They told us so many lies. It does not spin. It doesn't move. You can look and see. What's moving is the sun, you know. And I don't even think explains why the sun and moon moves the way they do. It's a dome. But here's what I was about to say. What gets me is this right here. Um Shoot, I forgot my thought. Oh, the sun itself is a star, and they didn't teach us that the sun was a star. That's what it is. It's a star, and the moon is a satellite. And how I know it's a satellite because I told you that experience I had with my daughter and I sitting in the car. I was mad. I was cussing. I was using all kind of profanity, and I was pointing at the moon. And that thing came down. It changed from the round moon and it turned into a spaceship, but it was like a satellite and it came down, and I still was fussing and cussing, and I was just sick and tired of what was going on in the earth. And my daughter put her hand on her head like this, like she was scared, and I was looking straight at it cussing. And Then it went back up, and she had no recollection that that thing came down. Only I remembered. She didn't remember it at all. And that was some kind of experience for me. But I wasn't scared because I was just mad. So Jesse James says, I believe Earth is shaped like an eye. Huh. Okay. Oh, anytime. Thank you. I humbly thank you, Jonah. It could be. I do know that sun, when you look straight at it, what it does for me, it has like this glow. The sun does, right? And when I look straight at it, I'm looking straight through it, and it has like an eye, a round eye. It looks like an eye, and it really does look like an all-seeing eye. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. They say that the sun is giving light to the earth. I don't believe that. I believe that the earth has a set amount of light to it, and then it has a certain amount of darkness to it. And I feel that, and it says it in the book of Daniel, Daniel 7, uh, they play with the times. And it says, it tells you in Daniel 7 that they uh, set the change times. And they didn't set the change, they did do it. No, thought to change times. And they did do it. They do it at, what is it? They call it, and they do it. They change it between. I think it used to be in September. Then they went to October. Then they went to November. I don't even know what it is now. I don't even care. Uh, the time change, you know, and I guess nobody really pay attention to it because the phones themselves automatically change time, and you ain't gonna miss it unless you're going to work. Because I really don't pay attention to time too much, not too much. You know, if I tell you I'm gonna be on between 6 and 7, yeah, I do that. But just looking at it constantly, because I used to do it. Boy, I was a time stickler for time, and when you don't be on time, I was a hot mess. But I don't do that. I don't want to do that because that's anything that stresses me out. I try to get away from it. I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to stress nobody, and I don't want nobody stressing me. And that's just how I do it. But all right, good people, I'm gonna go and say good night to you. You know, if you wanna, come in, let's do it again tomorrow. That'll be all right with me. Maybe you guys can come up with some things that you want to talk about. Because all we're gonna be doing is just sharing information. That's what I want to use this platform for. In this period, is use it for sharing information. And Jonah says, I heard there were explosion on the bridge nearby. Yes, it collapsed. They said something went into it, uh, and you could see it on the internet. The whole thing fell down. They're doing something. They're doing some things. But you know what? I do believe that we can change. We can come together as a unit in our thinking, and we could reverse the energy to where they can't do the things they used to do. I mean, I'm actually kind of seeing it. So I know that people are changing the way they think. Uh, you got a life jacket in your van. You know what, though? I'm not afraid of leaving the planet. Whatever gonna be, gonna be. you know, whatever gonna be. And I try not to be afraid of anything, you know. I try not to. Well, all right, guys, y'all. You got a dog. I was thinking about a dog too, but I don't want to clean up. I don't want to clean the dog, and I don't want to pay to clean the dog. I was thinking about that myself. Okay, people, y'all decide whether you want me to come in on tomorrow or just let me know. So y'all enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for coming. Good night.